Vickie. Welcome to Make Life Special and another visit in Vickie's kitchen. Today I'm making my Hamburger Quiche. This is a great recipe for a family dinner. It goes together quickly, it's fairly inexpensive to make, and it is really good. The ingredients are a ½ pound of ground beef or ground chuck, and you want to brown that in the skillet before we start assembling everything. A ½ cup of mayonnaise. And you do need to use real mayonnaise in this recipe. A tablespoon of cornstarch, 2 eggs, a ½ cup of milk. We'll use 1½ cups of cheddar cheese, and I like the sharp cheddar cheese for the extra flavor, and so that's what I'm using today in this recipe. This package actually has 2 cups in it, and we'll just be using 1½ cups. Then we're using a deep dish frozen pie crust today, and this is a 9-inch, and it's just ready to fill. These come in a package of 2, so I think you'll find that you'll like this recipe so much you may want to make a double recipe, and if you want to do that you can freeze one of the quiches to bake later, and then that way you use both of the deep dish pie crusts as you're making this. We also need a 1/4 cup of chopped green onion and a 1/4 cup of chopped green pepper. And right now I'm just browning the ground beef. You want to make certain that all of the pink and all of the red is out of the ground beef or the ground chuck as you brown it. And then of course we're going to need to drain this. We don't want any of the grease or the liquid in the quiche when we mix it up. This is actually almost done. Just another minute. Now at this point I'm going to start mixing the quiche, and we're going to go ahead and put the ½ cup of mayonnaise in, and you'll need to use a fairly large bowl for this. The milk mixes in here, and the cornstarch, and then the eggs we need to beat before we mix them in. Okay, I've whisked together the mayonnaise, the milk, the cornstarch, and the eggs, and I've just added the 1½ cups of cheese to the mixture, and you can see how it looks there. Now I'm going to finish chopping the green pepper and add the green pepper and chopped green onion, and we'll drain the hamburger, ground hamburger that we've browned, and add that in. And then with just a little salt and pepper, this will be ready to go into our pie crust. I am draining the fat off of this as I'm scooping it out of the skillet, because we don't want that extra grease in there. And I want to add about a teaspoon of salt and just a little bit of freshly ground black pepper. We'll stir this up, and this will be ready to go into the pie crust. We want to bake this, as I said, 35 to 45 minutes, but the key is we want the center of the quiche to be firm and set. It should not have any liquid running in it at all. So that's what it looks like before we put it into the pie crust. Filling into one of our pie crusts, and I'll just wrap this extra one up and put it back in the freezer to use at a later time. And it is important that you use a deep dish pie crust for this, because there's so much filling, it'll be too much to go in just a regular sized pie crust. And this is a 9-inch deep dish pie crust. And another tip that I want to share with you when you're baking with a frozen pie crust like this, it's in an aluminum pan, you need to put it on a cookie sheet for two reasons. The first one is just for stability. It's a lot easier to handle this in and out of the oven when it's on a pie sheet or a baking sheet or a cookie sheet. And the second reason is the cookie sheet helps distribute the heat evenly through the pie and the aluminum pan, and you'll just get a better product if you put it on a cookie sheet. So now I'm going to put this in the 350-degree oven for 35 to 45 minutes, and then we'll come back and see the finished product. I've just taken the Hamburger Quiche out of the oven, and whenever a recipe gives you a approximate time to bake, for instance 35 to 45 minutes, that means set the timer for 35 minutes and then start watching it. This quiche baked for 45 minutes, and the goal in this is to make sure that the center of the quiche is set, and you can see that it is. There is no liquid in that. It's completely set, and that's what you want. That's your clue that the quiche is done. Now we're going to plate it up, and I'll be back in just a minute to show you what it looks like if I were going to serve it. Here you see the Hamburger Quiche plated, ready to serve with my spinach raspberry salad.